Greetings. We are a group of interdimensional beings speaking to you on behalf of the Galactic Federation, and more importantly, we represent the wishes of all that is. Today we would like to address a few things that have come into our realization as a group, and these things will come into light as we progress through this discourse. The Draco-Reptilian and Orion Grey alliance that has rendered a slavery system upon your Earth plane for many thousands of your Earth years has come to an end. This has been decreed by the energy known to us as all that is. This energy is the same energy that brought the cosmos and all it entails into fruition. This is the energy that created the evolutionary process of all living creatures in all dimensions and in all states or stages of development. The evolutionary process of the beings known as humans is also part of this evolutionary process, although the human race is only one element of this much larger evolutionary process as designed by all that is. For this discourse, we would like to concentrate on the human element, as these are the beings we are interacting with at this time. Besides the human form, there are many races and forms that have evolved over many thousands of years as part of the process of evolution. The beings that have committed your plane to slavery are not superior to you, but they wish to portray themselves as such. The human race that resided on the Earth plane prior to their invasion were pure and powerful beings. The evolutionary process that was designed by all that is as a method of progression of all living creatures in order for each and every being to be allowed the opportunity to progress in a fashion that was based on free will and a soul's natural progression. As life forms progressed for understanding, shall we say, past the animal phase of development, they then explored the life forms of human or other similar life forms. It is during this phase of development that the physical form begins to develop intelligence, and thought forms emerge into intelligence more sophisticated than animals, birds, and other creatures. It is during this human stage that beings are able to understand and comprehend their existence and the environment around them, and further develop their intelligence to reach for understanding of things beyond themselves and their environment. This is where the evolutionary cycle allows for growth of these beings as they progress from this third-dimensional aspect of themselves to develop their intelligence further by understanding the self and coming into realization that there is an intelligence far greater than themselves. This is the realization and acknowledgement of the existence of all that is, and it is here that higher energies begin to interact with the human form and raise their vibration and their frequency into higher understanding. As this form progresses through the fourth dimension, understanding improves, and the being most likely wishes for more knowledge and wisdom of the great beyond, and so these experiences are explored and pathways are opened for such experiences to take place. The expansion from the physical being's perspective takes place with a yearning and an intention. This is then packaged in a way, and this thought form comes into fruition as this package is received and reciprocated by the energy of all that is. As this engagement continues, the interactions and exchanges get stronger, and the connection to all that is develops as the being experiences growth and expansion through its exploration. This progress continues through the dimensions. The progression from the fourth to the fifth dimension is a milestone, as this is where the physical form begins to morph from a physical dense energy into the energy of a light being. These experiences are perceived by many over many thousands of years as a very exciting and transformational time of growth and achievement at the soul level. Prior to the invasion, the beings on the earth plane were in varied states of transformation that ranged from the third, fourth, and fifth dimension, a majority being in the higher fifth dimension. This transformation was arrested in its tracks with the invasion of the Draco-Reptilian and the Orion Grey Alliance. Due to this arrest in their evolutionary cycle, these beings and their progress was interrupted. As they lived out that incarnation, they did not realize that their souls were trapped, only to be reincarnated into a third-dimensional existence and its environment that was created by these depraved entities. These low-vibrating energies that invaded your plane of existence are beings who are placed on the evolutionary cycle between the third and lower fourth dimension. Their physical form is that of half human and half reptile, with the Greys having their own representation of a humanoid form. They existed in these forms on their own planes of existence that was natural to their progression. However, they rebelled against this evolutionary cycle, and as an act of rebellion against all that is, took it upon themselves to create a mockery of this evolutionary cycle upon other planes of existence. And so the Earth plane became one such target for these rebelling forces. They invaded the livelihood and processes of the pure beings that lived on these planes by desecrating the evolutionary process and reversing any and all of its processes. These beings, in their depravity and lack of understanding of the enormity and perfection of the evolutionary process, went ahead with their actions based on their thirst for revenge. These beings, at the time of the invasion, were a powerful force, and so were no match for the benevolent beings assigned to protect these planes of existence, and so the Earth plane fell into a deep slumber under the watch of these aggressive, low-vibrating entities. They possessed powerful technology that was introduced in order to drastically change the environment for their survival. With this technology, they were able to render a majority of the plane of existence under their control by blanketing the surface with low-vibrating frequencies. As time went by, these technologies only became more sophisticated, and so frequency overlays upon the Earth plane became a network of overlays, making it more and more difficult for the benevolent light beings to penetrate. The Earth plane remained stagnant within this third-dimensional energy as a result of this overlay, and the societal and hierarchical indoctrination was imposed upon the population. You are now being offered the opportunity to raise yourself out of this imposition of slavery and degradation by understanding what is taking place on your Earth plane. In doing so, you are being asked to make a large leap in your consciousness by evolving as a being from the third dimension to become beings of the fifth dimension. This is a unique situation due to the reasons illustrated above. This is an opportunity for your soul to revert back to its original course of progression, but you are being fast-tracked into the fifth dimension. We understand that this is a swift transition, and it has never been attempted before in all known galactic history. You are a part of a grand plan, and this is a grand progression of your soul's unique journey. All that is, and a group of higher dimensional beings created this grand plan to bring about order and restore many of these occupied planes back to their former glory. They began liberating many outlying planes within the cosmos that these beings had invaded, and restored them back to the evolutionary process that they were meant to be prior to the invasion. These invaders were removed from their roles and a justice rendered on them as suited the crime they had committed. As this progressed, all that is, and the higher dimensional beings began to gather intelligence on their methodologies and their technology, and so things became easier as they progressed in their operation to liberate the occupied planes. The Galactic Federation was formed during the early stages of these operations, as many planes of existence had suffered at the hands of these beings, and so they wished to assist those that had suffered much like them. As the membership grew, so too did their cache of knowledge and intelligence about these beings they were up against. The grand plan was by this time reaching its most difficult part, this being the liberation of the Earth plane. This plane was by far the largest occupied faction and the most sophisticated. As all that is, the higher dimensional beings and the Galactic Federation prepared for this operation, they began to make inroads upon the plane in many different ways. Many volunteers came forward to be incarnated. Many others began to make contact with sensitives through telepathy and other forms of communication. In this way, a network of ground forces, if you will, were set up to assist these higher dimensional beings in this grand plan. If you have been following our discourses and have read our book, you will have a more in-depth understanding of where we are today and how this grand plan is progressing. We have been successful in removing the ruling class from your plane of existence. The layers of this hierarchy are deep and varied, and so we progress as we eliminate these layers and their representatives one by one. What we have laid out here for you, if you are hearing this for the first time, might seem like a fantastic science fiction story. However, we assure you that this is our truth. We bring you this truth to allow for your own innate being to step forward, so that your light that is connected to all that is might be ignited again, so that you might re-establish your lost connection to all that is from prior to the invasion. We realize that you have, on a soul level, gone through much trauma, and you possibly only remember this incarnation that your body exists within. On the surface, this existence that you have presents itself as perhaps a happy and content life, where you are living in a very comfortable home, you have a job, and you are happy. However, if you truly resonate with these words coming to you, your true essence on a soul level will be awakened to realize that we speak the truth. These beings have the ability to live for many thousands of your years, and so they have used this as an element against your human form, as a way of forgetting. The souls that were trapped within this invasion were subjected to their depraved technologies that allowed for the process of soul fragmentation to take place. This subject has been addressed briefly in a previous episode, but discussed at length in our book. Through this process, they have been able to recycle these trapped souls over and over again, so that life, as they designed it upon your plane, could be lived over and over again. We are sorry if this information being provided to you is traumatic to your being. We ask you to please allow for this knowledge and wisdom to process through your body and your understanding as a way of releasing yourself from this tyranny and slavery system. As many of you awaken to this knowledge and information, you are not only freeing your physical body and mind from the slavery upon your plane, you are also freeing your soul from further depravity and degradation. We ask you to allow for these energies to settle within your being as you receive and transmit this new information within your body and your mind. Breathe in and out and allow for these energies to settle. If you need to come back to this discourse at a later time, if you are overwhelmed, please do so. If you wish to continue, we will begin a short meditation. Please make yourself comfortable, either seated or lying down. Closing your eyes and taking a deep, cleansing breath. Breathe in and out. Continue to take a few more deep, cleansing breaths as you allow for your energy to settle into a calm and peaceful state. Now bring your focus to the area of your third eye, located in the middle of your forehead, slightly above your eyebrows. Take a deep breath in and out. We will continue in this way for a few more minutes until you hear a frequency tone. Take a deep breath in. Allow for your energy and your awareness to begin to flow back into your body, moving your fingers and your toes. Bring your palms together, rubbing them vigorously together, and then bringing them over your eyes. Now gently open your eyes as you remove your palms, and gently bringing yourself back into this space. Thank you, dear ones, for your time and interaction today. We ask you to reflect on this information and perhaps listen to it again, so that this knowledge and information aligns with your soul essence. This meditation and quiet space allows for you to re-establish your connection to your higher self and the energies of all that is. We will leave you now in peace and joy as you continue on your path. Blessings.